Hey gang, Fletch here. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful winter day. I'm outside right now. Unfortunately, we're in quarantine because Julie's got coronavirus, but she's not doing too badly. Just a cough and a little bit of a fever, and she's kind of powering through it. But I wanted to share with you guys some thoughts from John 1:14, and in the Gospel of John tells us the birth story of Jesus in a unique way. And there are no angels or shepherds, but there is a significant truth about how and why Jesus came into the world. So, John 1:14 says simply this: "And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth." You know, God wants you to know him, and the best way to know someone is to be with them in person. So God sends his son Jesus in the flesh as a person to be with us and to show us what God is like. And this reveals the relational side of God. He wants to be in relationship with us. He wants to talk with us, eat with us, show us his love in tangible ways. And so he comes in the flesh to dwell among us. God has come to live with us in order that we might understand his glory, his kindness, his love, his mercy, and his grace. Hebrews 1:3 says something similar, in that Jesus is the exact imprint of God's nature. God knows the power of presence, and he wants us to know this power as well. Being physically present in people's lives is important, and it's the way we minister to others with the gospel. Now, while Jesus was only physically present on earth for a few decades, he has now given us his Spirit to dwell in us in order that we can continue his ministry of presence. Now, unfortunately, the last 18 months has interrupted our ministry of presence. The pandemic has kept us from being able to be physically present with certain people, many of whom we love dearly. And we've all experienced and felt this sense of disconnection and personal touch. So in order to stay connected, we've had to get creative with Zoom calls, meeting outside, standing in someone's yard a healthy distance, or even behind a window at a nursing home. And it's been tough, and we will be feeling the impact of this disconnection for a while. It's not what we want, it's not what God wants, because it's not how we were created. We long to actually and physically be with people. I recently had the opportunity to visit one of my aunts that I had only texted or spoken on the phone with for the last 10 years. So when we were able to actually sit down on our couch and talk with one another, it was a significant and sweet time. We need handshakes and hugs. We need dinner dates and game nights. We need to be physically present with our family and friends. I want you to be encouraged by this ministry of presence. The pandemic will not last forever. We've already seen a glimpse of getting back to normal. Church services are creeping back in attendance. Zoom studies have come back in person. And hopefully your community groups are seeing more people come in person as well. Our community group was reminiscing last night about where we were at this time last year, which was socially distanced around some heaters on someone's back porch. And now we're gathered inside around a table enjoying dessert together. Don't underestimate the power of your presence in someone's life, because everywhere you go, Christ goes. Because the Spirit of Jesus dwells within you, then he is with you wherever you go. When you walk into a room, Christ is there. When you sit down in someone's home, Christ is there. Your presence matters. We don't always think of it this way because we think, well, if I don't show up, then I won't be missed. But that's just not the case. There are people in your group that are dying for you to be there. There are people in your group whose anxiety level immediately starts to calm down when you show up. Why? Is it something about you? Yes. It's Christ in you that has this effect on others. It's the power of presence. Think about your own relationships. Who can you think of right now that if they showed up wherever you are, you'd be just so excited? You have people in your life that minister with presence, and you too minister with your presence in the lives of others. This is how God has chosen to change the world. Relationships are God's master plan to extend his kingdom to the ends of the earth. I know it's hard to believe, but God created this world and started his church without the internet or an iPhone. His intention is that his kingdom be advanced through loving one another with the gospel, and that means being together. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that the pandemic is over yet. We still have a ways to go, and not everyone is ready to meet in person. And if that's the case, then give them a call. Drop off some goodies on their porch. Set up a Zoom call. Do whatever works best for them. But if you can get together with others, then do it. We're living in unprecedented times. And even though we may not know exactly what God is doing during this season, we know that it is good and that it is glorifying him. People are starving for connection in authentic relationships. Minister to them with the power of presence, the presence of Christ in you. That's the gospel. And we all know it's the gospel that changes everything.